Hey y'all, this is Nancy the Handy Scandy. Thanks for joining me for another crafty venture. I'm calling this one Christmas Wishes. As you can see by the sweet card on the screen right now, that's the sentiment that I included on there. And I've had a couple requests to use that bold print cling stamp from Hero Arts. It is called, I don't know what it's called, I won't lie. I think it says it right there, but my eyes aren't supersonic. And it's teeny tiny. Let me see if I can. Etched Winter Scene Bold Prints. If you're going to read the small print on a Hero Art stamp, have you some supersonic readers? Alright, so I am stamping this up, but as you can see, I'm using that circle mask. It is from A Colorful Life Designs because I like the idea of kind of spotlight scenes. It makes scene building, at least for me, much more approachable. The only thing with doing it with a plastic mask like this is the mask has some thickness to it. So getting it to stamp within the entire size of that circle was difficult. Also, I had pixie spray on it, and the pixie spray apparently wasn't dry enough yet, and it left some glue residue. So I had some of that sparkle kind of all over the place. But for my particular scene, it actually worked in my benefit. So I'm not mad about it. But you just know that if you're going for something clean and you want your heat embossing to be clean and where it's supposed to be, yeah, I struggled with this one in terms of that. But again, in the end, I think it all works together because it's a very monochromatic, kind of a mottled look. And I think it's, in the end, I think it's super sweet. So I did the stamping and heat embossing on each set. I did all the steps because I didn't want, see how that mask overlaps where the middle scene is? I didn't want to, mess that up, obviously. So I know how I am. If there's a mess to be made or an error to be made, this girl's going to find a way to do it. So I have to think ahead in those terms. So I've got the smaller stencil now. I think the big one was 4 inches. This one might be 2.5. It might be 3. I don't think it's a 3-inch though. There's a set of 4 circles and masks in this set. So I actually was going to use the masks over my circled scenes and do like a stencil effect or something like that on the outside to have a reverse image. But yeah, they didn't work because, as I said, there's a little bit of trouble getting the whole circle to fill with stamped image because of the lip of the stencil. So it is what it is. But in terms of trying to use the mask to cover the scene so that I could stencil the background, the mask was bigger than the scene. So, but it's okay. I like how it turned out. I think if I'd have done that, it would have been too busy anyway. So happy accidents, I guess. So I have all of that stamped and heat embossed. And here I have my 3 ink colors, and I'm just swatching them out, if you will, to make sure what order they need to go in. Are they going to blend well? And it turns out they blend extremely well to the point where you don't really even realize that there are different colors on the finished panel. But I have Iced Spruce, which I think is an absolutely beautiful color. Weathered Wood is gorgeous as well, and Stormy Sky. So those 3 colors make up my background, and I actually use them to paint my images as well. So I got it all ink blended up, and you can see kind of the spotlight effect that the stamping had, and now I'm adding some splatter. I did some water already. I did some of my Shimmering Bliss because I just got to have the Shimmering Bliss. And then I took a little bit of gouache and I watered it down with some Shimmering Bliss as well. And so, unfortunately, when I go to do the rest, so the ink blending was mostly off screen. That's why I didn't show much of it, as is the painting. So, y'all, I'm so sorry. So, I've got this, some pieces are sped up, but only ×2, so it's not like supersonic. That seems to be my word today. But yeah, it's sped up, but know that this process took me because I was pretty meticulous and I wanted to make sure that I got all the way up to the lines, and white on white was kind of hard to see, but it probably took me a good hour to paint these. Yeah, these little bitty images, because, you know, whenever you're painting, you want to make sure that one section is dry before you paint the section next to it. And even though they're small, and even though the Distress Oxides, when used as paint, dry relatively quickly, that was just my process. It is what it is. So I used all three of the colors to paint those up. So I tried not to have two of the same, like I tried not to have two ice spruce areas on the same image, if that makes sense. So here I'm taking this piece of scrap. That's the scrap that I did my swatching on, and I just blended ice spruce all over it. And now I'm using that same frostbite embossing powder from Brutus Monroe that I heat embossed. Well, I actually heat embossed the images with alabaster white, but I added some of the frostbite as like a glaze because I wanted that sparkle. So I'm doing this whole little panel with the frostbite, and I'm going to cut out my word wishes. You can see that I've cut it out there, and it's a super fine font. I love it. This word wishes came with the burlap slimline die from Honeybee, and there are several words in there. There's best wishes, love, you, I think are the 4-word dies. And it's just a sweet, delicate little font that I thought went perfect with this. What I did not show was right above the wishes to the left, I heat embossed the word Christmas in the same tone. I stamped it in clear, and I heat embossed it with the frosty or frostbite, and it's just very much tone on tone, which this whole card is very much monochromatic like that, isn't it? But I love it. It's so soft, and you can barely see, but if you look on the edges, you can see there's like a fringy look. I also use that same die from Honeybee, the burlap slimline die. I use that to cut this out. Now, what you need to don't know with that is you need to have the extender plates for this particular die. Yeah, because I have an extender, the base, whatever the base is called. That one is extended for my die cutting machine, but my plates are not. My plates are standard, and so I have to adjust it every time, and I can never get it right. But it is what it is. So I love that monochromatic look, and here I have used my die from Pink Fresh, and that set again is called Pop Out Folk Christmas. This is not the first time I've used that set this year, but very different application this time, right? Because last time I did it heat embossed in gold and then rainbow ink blended. So this is very, very different. So just think outside of the box when you're using your images. Creativity is your only limitation, right? Do whatever you think looks good. And what you think looks good today, you might want to do something different tomorrow. And that's the whole idea with being creative and using all of our products to the best ability that we can, because they're so versatile and they have so many uses. So I popped up the little dearies on a little bit of that red liner foam tape that is the bane of my existence. And I'm adding a little bit of stickles just to the scarves and to that ornament. And what you don't know, what I didn't show, is that ornament, you know how you'll thwack something so that the liquid dots will kind of flatten out? Well, I thwacked that and it flipped over upside down. So yeah, this was anyway, moving on. You can see my final card, and the differences in the colors are very minute, but I'm so happy with this. This card brings me such calm, and there you can see in the background, you can see the wispy skies, you can see the tree and the moon, and it's just a calm, peaceful card. So y'all, thank you for watching. Thanks for sticking in there with me and being so supportive. You see my typo there. That's great. We'll see y'all next time, guys. Thanks. Bye-bye.